So this is absolutely thoroughly ridiculous. I was hoping to try and go drag racing tomorrow. I was getting everything back to naturally aspirated setup on the FireTurd. This is the second time today I'm taking a harmonic balancer and the cover off the front. You can see I drilled and tapped and I put a fitting for 4A in for turbo drain back, but I don't think that's going to be enough turbo drain back, and I don't have any dash 10 or 12 for the turbo stuff, so I'm scratching the turbos for now, and then I think I'll just get a plug and then plug that hole instead, so I can run it naturally aspirated. But so I got it together. I put VR1 racing oil in it. The oil pump that I put on this motor was that new one that I showed how to mod the oil pressure in an earlier video. When I fired it up, I heard a weird noise and I was like, what the heck? And then like a few seconds later, I heard freaking like an aerated gurgling of fluid, and I said, oh crap, and I shut it off, because the only fluid in the motor, obviously, since there's no water pump, the only fluid is fuel and oil. So then I looked underneath the car. So looked under the car and I got a huge puddle of oil and everything. What it did was it blew the seal out the side of the top of the oil filter. So I reset it. Yeah, I unscrewed it. I got it set all back in. I screwed it back up. I thought, well, maybe I didn't have it tight enough. So I screwed it down tight. Tight. And then I got back in. Well, actually, I topped it back off with oil because I lost like 3 quarts that quick. I got in. I fired it back up, and as soon as it fired up, I heard it pop that oil seal again, and I immediately shut it off. Man, I lost probably at least another quart just in that short amount of time. And well, hell, you can see this is all the oil that's leaking out from the car. When I get the car moved, I'm gonna have to dig up all this dirt and dig it down, dig it all out, because I don't want the oil here. But it sprayed oil all the way out, slung it all the way out of the car, all the way out there. So I'm not thrilled. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to use like a 530 oil in this motor, and I'm thinking what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna take this oil, the front timing cover off, and I'm gonna unmod the oil pump and see if I can't lower that oil pressure so I'm not blowing past that seal. Because if I unmod it, I'm gonna reset the oil seal on the oil pump again, or not the oil pump, but the oil filter. I'm going to reseat the oil filter seal, or the gasket, and then I'm going to go ahead and try to run it again to see if it blows that seal out with the 2050, and if it does, I'll have to go to a lighter oil. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to pull this motor out, and I'm gonna have to go through and check all the oil galleys and I don't know, man. But you can't have your oil just spraying out on the ground. That doesn't really work. So yeah, it's been a fun day. As you can tell, it's freaking cold outside. It's spit snow on me a couple of times. It's trying to go ahead and spit snow again. It's supposed to snow some, like, I don't know, 3-4 hours tonight. And man, I'm really sick of wintertime and working out here in this cold. So I'm gonna get after this and see if I can't do something. want to have to pull the dang motor out, but I don't know, maybe I can hook up the engine hoist and I can just hoist it up enough to drop the oil pan enough to get to that second bolt in there, maybe on the oil pump, get it loose and demod it. But right now it's starting to spit snow. It's really stinking cold, and I'm tired of dealing with this today. I'm tired of dealing with this turd today. It's getting windy. I'm out of here. Anyways, maybe I'll give a short and sweet edit tonight, something, get it up. Tomorrow they're racing, they're doing drags and donuts at PPIR down in Fountain, and I really wanted to go, but I haven't got things together. Been doing too much crap. Anyways, so I'm gonna call it a day and go in where it's warm. Maybe get something to eat, some hot chocolate or something. Bye. Hey, just do a little every day and you'll get something done anyways. So what I got going on with the FireTurd is that this has the brand new oil pump that I modded for higher pressure, and then I put in some of the VR1 2050 weight racing oil, the Valvoline, and that appears to be too much for the system, and so every time I start the car it blows the O-ring out of the oil filter and then just sprays oil everywhere. So I've drained out what I can of the remaining 2050. I'm going to try and drop the oil pan down far enough to get to the front of the pump. I've got the covers just set on there from the other day, but I've got there's just one bolt that I can't get to in the oil pickup tube to get it off, so I can take the pump out, so I can demod the pressure mod on the pump. So I'm going to go ahead and try and see if I can't get the oil pan to drop down just far enough for me to get that to happen. So basically I think I've got enough. I think maybe I've got enough room between the cross member and the oil pan to get it to drop down enough to get on the bolt to get the oil pickup tube bolt removed from the oil pump, and then take the oil pump off, demod it, put it back together. Then I've got some much thinner I've got some much thinner oil that I'm going to put in, and then we'll see if that makes a difference. Well, I think what I'm going to do actually is just hook this oil pump back up under this cover, and then I think what I'm going to do is put the oil pump back on and fill the motor with the thinner oil and see if that doesn't help. You know, maybe I can keep from blowing the seal out of the oil filter that way, but I sure hate to blow that seal out of the oil filter going down the friggin' drag strip and blow oil all over the place. That would suck. So anyways, we'll see what I'll do. Dang it. That sucks. That really sucks. Guess the motor gets to come back out. Joy. That sucks. Give it any RPM and it blows the freaking seal out of the oil filter. So, do not mod your oil pump for high pressure. It's either that or I've got something else wrong with this motor that is a major problem. So, crap. Back to the drawing board, I guess. So, yeah, something's not right with that motor. It shouldn't be blowing that O-ring out of the oil filter like that. So it's got to come out. I'm going to demod that oil pump or change it to the old oil pump or something, because that's not right. But I almost want to check every oil passage in that motor before I continue on, because something isn't right. So, seeing as I need to go through every oil passage in that motor, but I want to get the FireTurd up and running for LS Vest West, I'm thinking I'll bolt those heads. I'll take that stage 3 or stage 4 Brian Tooley Racing turbo cam out of that one. I've got to either that or I've got to find the springs for the other camshaft, the tick camshaft. But I don't know. I got those springs matched to that BTR cam, so I'm thinking take that BTR cam and the heads off of that motor, just put all that on the 408 in the hanger and swap over the oil pan stuff. Get that 408 running, because it's brand new. I know all the oil passages are clear in it. At that point I can demod that new oil pump for the extra pressure. I can just demod it and go to back to regular the way it was, and that'll give me a chance to be able to set this motor aside and go ahead and look at different passages. Man, for all I know, maybe I got the cam bearings in wrong and the cam bearings are just cutting off the flow or something. We'll see. Anyways, I got to check that motor over from top to bottom all the way through. So I think the best bet is just to go with the 408, which, you know, it's not so bad in a FireTurd, and get that done. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, we'll see you on the next one.